tonight is a bit of an understanding of what's going to happen inside of the DMP 30-day class. It's going to run from September 20th to October 25th. There's going to be a couple of days in there of kind of break time and you getting ready to find out where you're at and get assembled, get some things together, continue to work on your process and your program. So, y'all ready? Got Mr. Scott Schilling here. He's going to be part of the program as well. So I'm glad to have him here. Good to see you again, Scott. Scott and I did a 2-day conversation just this past weekend on the 20 elements of your DMP. And in doing that, we had quite a significant response from that. So I've taken a little bit of an adjustment on what we're doing and how I'm going to be presenting it based upon some of the feedback that took place from there. So let me do this here. Let me figure out share screen. Oh, it's over there. And I want to share this screen. So when I share this, if you all let me know if once I put this in presentation mode, if it shows you the full slide. Does that show you the full slide? Okay, good. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to the DMP conversation. This is a little overview, a webinar, a live event on what is going to happen in this 30-day program. Inside of this 30-day program, I really want to help you find and uncover and unlock and truly get very clear on your definite major purpose. I'm going to share with you a little bit of who I am. Many of you have been around me for a while, over 1,600 episodes, but some of you, this might be the first time that I'm getting to spend some time with you. So I'm going to give you a little insight. And here on the ranch, things are alive and taking place. So you may hear a dog bark in the background, maybe, maybe not. So your DMP, why you struggle to succeed in life. And it's not really, it's a time to have a remedy for that. So let's take a look here. Why is discovering your DMP so vital? That's the question. Why is it so vital? What makes it so important to find your DMP? We talk about it. We talk about goal setting. Your DMP is different than goal setting. Your DMP is different than affirmations. Your DMP is different than anything else you've ever used. Why? Because 98% of the population still struggle with their affirmations and their goal setting. When you truly line out, when you truly get your DMP locked in and tuned in and fine-tuned, that's what's going to happen in 30 days. It's going to take 30 days. See, it takes you 5 minutes to write an affirmation. It's going to take you 30 days to really dive in, to understand what it's going to take to get your DMP in place. So the two of the most important days in your life, the day you were born and the day you find out why. Getting your DMP in place is one of those things that help you find out why you're here. So it gives you direction and fulfillment. How many of us feel sometimes we're operating like a ship at sea without a rudder? Knowing your purpose provides a compass, a direction for each of your actions and decisions towards a meaningful end. It directs your actions on each of your decisions. This is important to understand. This is why this is different than an affirmation. An affirmation is, I want to be healthy. And so you make good decisions about your health. An affirmation or an affirmation from Noah St. John is, I want to create some income. I want to get $10,000 in income. So I'm going to work my business harder. I'm going to sponsor more. A DMP is about the state of your life, and it affects every single decision that you make in your life. And the reason sometimes you get aggravated over here or frustrated over there is because you don't have your North Star in place. And that's what your DMP gives you. It allows you to be resilient in adversity. How many of you today got or how many of you in the last week, maybe you know somebody, drop a 1 in the chat if you know somebody who's like this. Listen first. They got mad about something. They kind of lost their cool. A couple of days later, they were back to being okay. Drop a 1 in the chat if you know somebody like that. They got mad, they got frustrated, they got agitated, and then, you know what? I guess it's okay. And they decided that life was okay and it really wasn't worth it. And they decided to go back to being normal. Your DMP keeps you from losing your cool in the first place. When challenges arise, a clear purpose acts as an anchor to keep you grounded and motivated. You've heard me say many times, for those of you that I've been fortunate enough to hang around with for 4 years now on the podcast, if it's not going to matter in 6 months, why let it matter now? But see, that's hard to do. Everybody says, well, Sean, that's so hard to do. I don't understand how to do that. Honestly, I don't know how you let yourself do that. I don't know how you get so sideways with yourself that you get sick, your stomach hurts, you get a headache. It's because you haven't set your anchor to become immovable, right? You haven't set your non-negotiable. Your definite major purpose changes everything. The other thing that it does is it unlocks your potential. This one I want you to be serious about. And if you're not going to participate, that's fine. That's fine. Don't participate. But if I ask you to interact in the chat, I'm gonna encourage you to do that, because it's gonna change the way you look at things. So if you believe you have more potential in you, drop a P in the chat. With a defined purpose, we tap into our deepest reservoirs of talent, creativity, and energy. This is so very important to understand, our deepest talents and creativity. So when you take a look at what it is, when you finally, the reason that most people don't spend any effort, don't spend continuous effort in their DMP, is because they're too focused on the moment, and they're not focused enough on paying attention to where they're going. Isn't it time to start thinking about success? See, your DMP creates your legacy and your impact. When Napoleon Hill was asked by Andrew Carnegie, would he spend 20 years of his life figuring out the secrets and the talents of the 500 richest men on the planet at the time? Would he take the time to go investigate and create the formula, the handbook for success? And little did he know that that's what he would be doing when he started out on this path and on this journey. Oh, by the way, with no help from Carnegie on support, only the letters of introduction. Purpose-driven individuals just don't live for themselves. They shape the world and leave enduring legacies. You've heard me say this many times, and for those of you that this might be your first time, this one might get your wheels spinning a little bit. What's the word they're going to put on the statue they build to you? See, if you haven't thought about them building a statue, now I'm not saying you got to be egotistical enough that they should be building a statue to you. What I am saying is that maybe if you make enough impact in the world, somebody's going to say, you know what, we need to create a moment, we need to create a monument of gratitude for this individual who literally laid down activities and ideas and thoughts and processes that have changed our families' lives. So, a little bit about me. Who is Sean G. Murphy? Well, a lot of people see that as me now, right? Sometimes that's why I wear a hat a lot. Sometimes my hair's a little crazy, but this is how it started. This is how it started. Right now, 4 decades, 40 years of experience guiding individuals. You can read those. Many of you know that. Podcast Maven, over 1,600. Actually, it's over 5,000 hours of content, over 1,600 episodes of personal undevelopment. A master instructor, renowned self-talk trainer, mental toughness trainer, hypnotherapist, neuroencoding specialist. I do deep work, dive deep in the teachings of Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor was my mentor 21 years ago. Michelle and I hired him to be our mentor. We got started in the network marketing world, and Bob Proctor was a personal mentor of mine. Napoleon Hill, the Stoics. I studied the Stoics. Tony Robbins, all of Joseph McClendon, all of these individuals, because I wanted to learn what it really takes to understand how things work. And I'm kind of a hamburger maker. I didn't flip hamburgers. I never flipped hamburgers, but I make hamburgers because I take the sacred cows of personal development and kind of put them through the mill and turn them into some hamburgers around the park. A little bit about me: farm boy from Ohio, 0.9 grade point average. I was deathly afraid of groups. You couldn't put me into a group. Everything that I wore was secondhand. And since I was the tallest one in the family, I always had the floods. Anybody drop an F in the chat if you ever wore flood pants, which now they seem like they're in, right? Maybe I could have been wearing capris back then. They didn't call them capris. They just called them hand-me-downs that didn't fit. I wanted to be a truck driver. I wanted to be a truck driver because I wanted to be on the move. I wanted to be on the go, baby. Funny how a lot of those things never really took place. They affected me, but they never took place. A little bit about me: Bob Berg. Anybody ever hear of Bob Berg, the go-giver? This is me, him, and our translator in China. There's me with some folks in China. This is me with the head of the company, Tian Su. It was the 25th largest network marketing company in the world at the time. This is a kind of a cool picture. This is sitting with the chairman in his private office. This is his conference room. But what was neat about it, on each of those little tables in between us, and in the headsets behind us, in the seats behind us, were speakers. So nobody had to talk louder than this, no matter where you were in that room. It was one of the coolest things ever. That was actually in Tian's, China. These are some places I've been, some folks I've been with, the Ray Higdon group. Ray and Jessica, they're friends of mine. This is us on stage in different places that we spent time. I'm a certified brain trainer, the Damon Institute, and certified neuroencoding specialist trainer from Joseph McClendon III. I put together a Science of Getting Rich program. It's a 16-hour course, 84-page workbook if you want more information on that. These are just some of the things to give you some idea of, this isn't just another goal-setting workshop. This isn't just another conversation with somebody to teach you how to write affirmations and to say things over and over. Kim Pothier, over 1 million followers. She's a ride or die friend of mine. There's Tom Ziegler, Zig Ziglar's son. I'll probably be seeing him this weekend, going down to a inner circle mastermind with Kyle Wilson. There's President Fox. I worked with him, helped him raise a lot of money for the first Latin presidential library in all of Latin America. Here's a little one. I like this one. Just listen up. You may want to turn up your speakers for just a second. This is Les Brown, an interview I did with him.
With the help of God, you'll get it. This has been Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy, her grandson, and Sean's pride and joy. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Don't throw up some hearts for Les and John Leslie. Oh my gosh. You thought you were just going to come here. Oh, hungry. You heard more than hungry. Les, what did you like most about this morning, Les, on this call? What'd you like most?
You.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I do. I just love who you are and how you've showed up in life. There's a saying, judge a man not by what he does, but what he does that he doesn't have to do. And to judge the true quality of a man is what he does when nobody's looking. You care. You have compassion. People can smell commission breath. They can smell when you try and manipulate them. But love is a different kind of thing. Maya Angelou said that, who I'm talking about, Maya Angelou, she said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You care about people. I love. So there's Les Brown saying some nice things about me.
Been on a bunch of inner circles with them in masterminds. This is me in Quito, Ecuador, at the equator, fusion, 5,000 people. This was a meeting with a group in Colombia. I had 30,000 people on my team down there. So I understand this idea of sales and sales training. There's a group of the folks, the crazy Latinos. I loved them, from 13 different Latin American countries. This is another group in Panama. This is 17 leaders that brought in for Larry Thompson, Larry and Taylor Thompson. Larry Thompson's responsible for helping build $2 billion corporations. Herbalife was one of them. Maybe you heard of that company. This is another group that was done in, I'm not sure where this was. This might've been Costa Rica. This was, the funny thing is that it had been a while since I had built an organization where everybody in the room was in my organization. Everybody in that room was in my team. And this is just the leaders that got on stage. There's Darren Hardy. There's me with Mark and Crystal Dwyer and the Hansons. Mitzi Perdue, 83rd wealthiest person on the planet from the Perdue family. She's just another ride or die kind of friend. So I love them. Curtis Broom, these are friends and family, 7-figure income earner. This is us doing a little impromptu at the lake house over on the other side of the lake for me. Here's one on memory and marketing from 2021. Ron White, 2-time U.S. memory champion. Kyle Wilson, Jim Rohn's business partner for 18 years, president of Jim Rohn International. And me, Change Your Brain. All right. So again, Nui Scruggs, a dear friend. This is a whole bunch of CEOs and different people. So all of this to say, is it time to find your true north? That's what this is all about. Can I get you there? Yeah, I can get you there. The question is do you want to get there? So I'm going to walk you through some of the challenges of what happens and why it really makes sense that we need to do this. Because the first thing is that a definite major purpose is the overreaching goal or mission that gives direction. This isn't about you losing weight. It's about being the state, the healthy, that you don't have to think about losing weight. You don't have to think about doing income producing activities. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine when you wake up in the morning, you've already got your list together in your mind. You're already wired for your reticular activating system, that you understand the meaning and the purpose to your life. And it's the compass and the guiding every direction and every action and every endeavor, everything that you do, your definite major purpose. And some of you might even be seeing, I can hear it in my head already. Some people, well, but what if I want to change it? Well, of course you're going to change it. It's not written in stone. You're not writing this in stone. This is something that you do. It's a 12-month plan that maybe halfway through, you're going to adjust it because you've already exceeded some of the goals and the dreams that you want. A definite major purpose is your heart's GPS. Just as it guides a traveler to their destination, this steers you on one's journey through life. The reason you want to put a DMP in place is because it gives you clarity and commitment. Discovering your DMP provides clear focus to an unwavering commitment to its realization. Tell me the last time, think about the last time you ever had an unwavering commitment. Unwavering. You know, they say 50% of marriages end in divorce, yet they said, till death do us part. What is unwavering in your world? And what would happen if all of a sudden you started to be able to live in an unwavering state? A DMP allows you to have influence on your sub goals. Every other ambition, desire, or goal should align and contribute to fulfilling your DMP. Scrolling, probably not part of your DMP. Scrolling on TikTok and doing all of that stuff, staying up till 2 a.m, probably not part of your DMP. See, when this gets so aligned, and the rewire that happens in your brain, the rewire that happens in your mind, the rewire that happens in your spirit, literally changes the DNA, right? There's something known as epigenetics, turning on the cells, turning on the genes, right? And that's what this is about, because when you understand how valuable it is to absolutely have your DMP in place, Well, Napoleon Hill said it best. The man who has no definite purpose in life is lost. He's like a ship without a rudder, at the mercy of every wind that blows. Think about this for just a second. What are the winds that blow in your life? What are the financial winds that take you off course? What are the societal winds that take you off course? What's the mental winds that blow you off of your course? What is the family winds that blow you off course? What's your own physical winds that blow you off course? If you want to lose a little more weight, get your DMP. You want to create a little more finance, get your DMP. See, your DMP will take care of both of those. Most people are going to write an affirmation for their wealth, an affirmation for their health, an affirmation for their finances, an affirmation for their society, an affirmation for their body, an affirmation for their brain. It's a lot simpler if you simply just write down and create and take the time to invest into your DMP. Here's the problem. See these parts and pieces over here? This is most people's DMP. It's a misaligned compass. It's a compass to average. It's a compass to frustration. It's a compass to comfort zone. It's navigating life without a definite major purpose. This is why 98% of the people struggle. I can tell you, you've had a definite major purpose in the past. Maybe you've even had it this past week. It's usually a financial one, where you have to put your shoulder down and you go sell stuff, or you go do the work, or you go work extra hours. Anybody ever work overtime? Drop OT in the chat if you've ever worked overtime to make a little extra money so that you could get ahead. You've worked overtime so you can make a little extra money. What if you worked overtime for you? What if you worked overtime on you? What if you started to put a little bit of your own energy and effort into the work? Having your definite major purpose stops the drifting and uncertainty. Here's the problem. It's drifting and uncertainty. This drifting and uncertainty often finds people aimlessly drifting through life feeling lost. If you go to sleep and you're exhausted before you go to sleep, and then you get some rest, and then you wake up tired, you didn't sleep well, and you're already exhausted when you wake up. You know anybody? You ever talk to anybody at work that's exhausted when they get to work? Drop an E in the chat. If they are exhausted by the time they get to work, they don't have their DMP in place. They just don't. And what happens is that you want to fit in. Maybe you want to fit in. You like them, so you get exhausted too, so you have something to talk about. Lack of motivation. Lack of motivation. This whole idea that I don't have enough time is such a lie we tell ourselves. The absence of a driving purpose leads to low enthusiasm, in theos, the God within. Low enthusiasm and drive, making daily tasks feel burdensome. I promise you, when your DMP is in place and you have it lined up, you literally spring out of bed, because for once in your life, you're not doing it out of the need, you're doing it out of the want. The other problem with not having your DMP in place is, what do they call it? Analysis paralysis, decision paralysis. Even simple decisions become overwhelming. How many of you have ever, well, I'm not going to put the burden on you. How many of you have ever had a struggle or know somebody who's had a struggle deciding what they wanted to eat? I know it sounds silly. What do you mean wanting something, struggling over something to eat? I'm telling you, when you have your DMP in place, you'll eat an apple. You'll fast, you'll intermittent fast, and you don't even know it. You've intermittent fasted before. You've been so busy at work where you said, oh my God, I got a headache. I haven't eaten all day. But you didn't stop. You weren't starving. You got hungry when you became aware of it, when you took your focus off of your actions and you started to want to find and remember who you are. You remembered, you probably said, well, I'm somebody who, I don't go all day without eating. Here's the big one. In social media today, here's the big one. Social media today, it's about this vulnerability. and external influences. We get so pushed by this wind without a robust inner compass, we become easily swayed. What's that thing they say? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. This is one of the biggest reasons that people refuse. I'm not going to say don't do it. They absolutely 100% refuse to do it. Maybe not consciously, but this is one of the biggest killers of anybody getting serious, truly serious. Why? Because you got to admit where you're at. And boy, sometimes that sucks. That's not a good feeling when you have to admit where you're at to yourself. Social media has made us become such a powerhouse of Instagram and where we're at and doing this. And I got 30,000 followers. I got 7,000 followers on Instagram. You know how many followers I got on Instagram? 6. That's how many people show up for my lives. I got 6 people on Instagram. I don't have 7,000. Come on, stop blowing smoke. It's not a vulnerable thing for me to tell you I got 6 people. I got 6 people who love me. They're raving fans. But this is going to be the key. And here's the biggest reason is that you don't even know the opportunities that you missed. Come on, let's get serious. Drop it in the chat. Get serious for just another second. Drop an M in the chat if you know you've missed opportunities because you've been unfocused. I'm going to ask you the tough question. When should that stop? When would be a good time for you to stop missing opportunities? And then fulfillment. There's just an emptiness, right? How many of you have a friend, and I mean this sincerely, and I say prayers for all of them. How many of you have a friend that you know they're just one needle above the E on empty? The light is on, the low fuel is on in their life, and you know that they're just empty. And you try to do your best to inspire them, to give them some love. But have you checked your tank? Have you checked your gauge? What have you done today to fill yourself back up? What have you done today to put more juice into your life? It's called self-care. But the challenge is, ladies, this is going to be particularly aimed at you. The challenge is that if you do something to take care of yourself, you're called selfish. I'm going to ask you to write down the word self-full. And it's hard to go fill somebody up when your tank is empty too. But we're so used to getting just little whiffs, right? How many of you have ever been walking in an airport or someplace and somebody walked by you and they had that perfume of maybe one of your first romantic connections? There's one, the first girl I dated, Kelly, she wore a particular perfume, cologne, and I could tell you that if I smelled that today, could tell you exactly what that is. But see, we're just getting the smell of something. We're just getting the whiff of success. We're not actually bathing ourselves in success. It's time to change that. It's time to make that a different understanding. J.R.R. Tolkien said, not all those who wander are lost, but those without a purpose surely are. So here's the solution. You all ready for the solutions? Discover your definite major purpose. This isn't a why. A why is different. A why is a reason. And the challenge with a why, Brene Brown says, nobody has, you have no permission to hear somebody's why unless they give it to you. You asking somebody their why triggers the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, the amygdala, and it shuts them down. They may have an answer. I want to create money for my mom. I want to buy my mom and dad a house. I want to take care of my kids' college. How's that working? Are you doing it? Have you paid off the house? Have you put the money away yet? You've been doing this for a decade. Some of you are younger on the call. Okay, you're just getting started. But some of you that are not younger, that aren't in your 20s, you've been doing this for a decade. Where's the issue? It's your definite major purpose. I'm sharing this with you because The 500 that Hill talked to all had a DMP in place. So Frederick said, the purpose is the place where your deep gladness meets the world's needs. Read that again. Purpose is the place where your deep gladness meets the world's needs. Listen, it might not meet my world's needs. That's why you have to have your DMP for your world. Our worlds will collide and our worlds will collapse upon each other and spin in time and space. But your purpose is where your deep gladness meets your world's needs. That's pretty powerful. So what a definite major purpose gets you is clarity and vision. No more, what do I do? No more, how do I wake up? No more getting up later than you say. If you say you want to get up at 8, you get up at 8. You want to get up at 5, you get up at 5. There's no argument. There's no discussion. You want to sleep in, you want to get up at 3 o'clock, you'll get up at 3 o'clock and you'll be wide awake. You'll be ready to go. It gives you a clear, crystal clear vision, removing fog and uncertainty and doubt. That'd be good, wouldn't it? See, an affirmation doesn't do that. Let me let you in on a little secret. You want to know why affirmations, people struggle with them? Is because the same voice that reads the affirmation, even if you read it and you hear your voice in your head, it's the same voice for the last decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades that has beat you up, drug you through the mud and told you you're a failure and given you an identity that you're not enough. And so now once a day, you read an affirmation, I am so rich. And your mind goes, who said that? Right? Because you're saying it in your voice. Your brain's going, your mind's going, your system's going, your parasympathetic system is going, your nervous system is going. Who's saying that? None of this makes any sense. So when you have your DMP, it's a set of rules, set of non-negotiables that have emotion tied to them, but they're not emotional when you speak them. It is a fact. It is a rule and it's a law. It gives you drive and passion. Rekindle that inner flame. How many of you know that when you worked on something, how many of you had a project in the past? Drop a P in the chat. If you had a project in the past that you just loved to do, I mean, you went all out on it. You were totally it, right? And that was your passion. You did it. And people said, man, you do that so well. It gives you decision mastery. How many of you would like to take the words, I don't know, out of your vocabulary? How many of you would literally love to take drop IDK if you would like that out of your vernacular? Out of your language. I don't know. What if you could always say, I do know? I don't know. I know. Get out of my way. Tony Robbins says, right? That person says, when there's a challenge, you want to be the one who steps up and says, get out of my way. I'll take care of it. Social media has made us timid. Social media has made us go after likes. I don't want likes. I want love. I don't want likes. I want love. I want people to love what I do. I don't want people to like what I do. Gives you this inner resilience. Most people are so absolutely, they're one blink away from an internal disaster. One mean look, one scowl, one bird that they get flipped while driving, and they're just ready to collapse. They are so wound, so tight that one challenge could just absolutely send them to the grave. And it shouldn't be that way. When you build this mental fortress, and that's what this is, against external pressures, it allows you to stay true. It teaches you to say words like, isn't that fascinating? And mean it. That's fascinating. What an incredible experience. I've never seen anything like it. and you get to stay on your path, in your tune. You become a magnet, an opportunity magnet. Napoleon Hill says in the preface, no fewer than 100 times has the secret to success been revealed on these pages in the book Think and Grow Rich. In fact, when it happens, when the secret reveals itself to you and you apply it and you do the work, and it starts to flow to you like all of these paper clips on this magnet, you'll wonder where it was during all the lean years. This is the power of getting your DMP in place. Because if you believe in the law of attraction, the law of attraction works all the time, all the time, all the time. All the time. Life happens for us, not to us. So when you have a bad moment, you've just asked the universe to bring you some bad moments. You just did. It's karma. What you just sent out, frustration, aggravation, complaining about somebody, this, that, or the other, it comes back. Law of attraction works. It's always worked. Your definite major purpose allows you to not have to be taken off your course, your rudder stolen from you on your success, because what you want becomes visible. Wallace D. Wattles says in the book Science of Getting Rich, there is a thinking stuff from which all things are made that permeates and penetrates and fills the inner spaces of the universe. When you have your DMP in place, you are allowing the good thoughts to fill the inner spaces of the universe. It gives you deep fulfillment. As you put your DMP in place, just type in the chat for M, put month. So 1 month, 1M, or 5M, or 1 year, or 5 years. When's the last time you had a deep, profound sense of satisfaction and happiness? How long ago was it? How long ago was it? I want you to think about it. How long ago was it? 20 years ago, 3 years ago. A deep, I want to, and maybe you're kind of curious going, what is a profound sense of satisfaction and happiness? I don't know if I've had a deep one. So my question to you is, when would be a good time? When would be a good time to have it? This is why the DMP is so, we are wired as a culture to avoid this like the plague. Because if you have a deep, profound sense of satisfaction and happiness, you know what happens? People call you crazy. Lao Tzu said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and that's where you are tonight. So here's the DMP journey. It's embarking on a quest of self-discovery. I can't do this for you. I can't lift the weights for you. Scott Schilling can't lift the weights for you. The people who are in the community can't lift the weights for you. You're going to have to do it yourself. We're here to help you, to guide you. This is where true mentorship is going to come into your life, to help you do things you didn't know you could do. And the biggest challenge with that is you doing something you didn't know you could do is not asking for help. That's going to be the biggest challenge. This is about getting methodologies and a process of the course. That's what this is going to be about, getting processes in place. You're going to have to spend some time in quietness. You call it meditation, call it quiet time. Could be walking meditations. You're going to engage in deep, deep self-reflection, unearthing passions, strengths, and aspirations, and things that you've forgotten, things you've forgotten about. You're going to have to look at how you got here. This is the hard part about this, is that, well, Sean, you know, I law of attraction, I won't have to think about the past. No. We have to understand what the model was that got here so we don't break it, but we can tune it. We don't want to break it. See, if I was tuning a guitar, I could turn the strings a little bit different than I would turn the strings on a violin. We got to know what you've built so we know how to modify it. This is going to be through surveys, through questions, through you journaling. I'm going to encourage you to get a new journal for this. You may fill up a journal. Probably you'll go through 50, 60 pages on your journal, I promise you. That's what this is going to be about. This is about you having some introspection. This is about when we do come together for Q&A, we're not sitting here like bumps on the log waiting for you to ask stuff. You've got a list of questions. When I do this, this happens. When I do this, this happens. When I did this, when I think this, this happens. Live Q&A inside of the chat. It's going to be about vision crafting. Some of you have challenge of visualization. There's a gap. There's a gap between where you are and where you want to be. Some of you, it might be the Grand Canyon. What we're going to do over the course of the next 30 days of this program is that we're going to take that Grand Canyon and we're going to turn it into a sidewalk that you need to step over. Then we're going to turn it into a finish line that you draw behind you and you're started. This is about getting you through that gap. An affirmation doesn't get you through the gap. It gets you to notice the gap, and then you need to go do the work to get over the gap. This is about you crafting and creating language that's such that puts a drive into your spirit, activates genes that you haven't had activated before, activates new neural networks inside of your brain that allow you to see things the way you've never seen them before. And you use all of these tools that you're going to learn so that you can actually understand where it is you're going. There's going to be guided meditation to help you with your subconscious to allow you to unlock. We're going to go through the chakras. Some of you have been on some of the calls where you've used your chakras, where you've gone through the I do, the I am, the I do, the I feel, the I love, the I speak, the I see, and the I understand. But most of you just do an I am. How many of you know I am statements? I am rich. I am this. And you do this. I am rich on or before December 31st, 2023. Here's the challenge. The I am is it's the least energy of all the chakras because it's the security chakra. And the reason the brain likes the I am is because it says, okay, I only have to work on that. And it's either a pattern or it's a threat. That's all the I am is. It's either a pattern or a threat. And through meditation and through some of the things that we've done inside of the morning calls, having access to this information, we're going to activate all of the chakra centers so that you understand that when you do an affirmation, you include all of the chakras, the I do, the I feel, the I see, the I love, the I understand, the I speak. And all of a sudden, it activates new neural chemicals inside your body. You're going to have experiential activities. Imagine digging a hole or finding a place where you can dig a hole. How many of you have ever dug your feet into the sand at the beach and buried your feet up to your ankles? Or type feet in the chat if you've ever buried your feet in the sand at the beach. You know why you do that? It's a level of grounding that doesn't take place. When you bury your feet in the sand, it literally gets into your body. It's a detox. It's antimicrobial. It does so many things to help your body heal. Why is it that you only bury your feet at the beach? Grounding is going to be important. Grounding is going to be a big part of this. So engage in practical exercises, real world tasks. We have some pretty amazing people who are part of the community and organization to help you understand how to move your body and the Psyche philosophy behind it. If you're not familiar with Psyche, that's a very powerful tool we're going to be incorporating as well. How many of you have ever read The Alchemist? And you hear me mention Paulo Coelho all the time for the book Manuscript Found in a Craw. But he says this, Paulo Coelho says this, when you find your path, you must not be afraid. I'm going to pause there for a second. Imagine you're sitting outside at a bar and you're resting your arms on this bar and you're looking out at the beach and it's just this bar at the end of a porch. And all of a sudden, the thing of your ultimate desires sits down at the other end of the bar. And as it sits down at the other end of the bar, you get this feeling. and you get this feeling and you look over and you go, oh my gosh, that's it. That's the thing I want. That's it. That's what I want. That's the thing I love. That, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's here. It's as close as my skin. And you keep glancing at it. And then you begin to feel a little bit more comfortable and you begin to stare. I want you to imagine you're doing it right now. I want you to pick that goal, that dream, that thing that you want in the next 30 days, that thing that you want. I want you to imagine and literally turn your head and imagine you're looking at it. And I want you to see that you've got it. Your eyes open, eyes closed, either way. But all of a sudden, here's what I want to do. I'm going to add a little bit to this dream. You're looking at it, and now it snaps its head and it looks directly at you. What happened in your body? Did you want to turn away? Did you flinch? When you find your path, you must not be afraid. You need to have significant courage to make mistakes. I'd take a screenshot of that one. I'd take a screenshot of that one. So, what to expect? Transformative results. You won't recognize yourself at the end of 30 days. Your language will change. Listen, if you swear, if you cuss, if you're a cusser, you won't do that anymore. Right? If you do unhealthy things, I'm going to even go as far as smoking. You'll stop smoking. If you drink a little bit too excessive, you'll stop that. You'll do all of the things that you know that you will need to do, because the whole idea is that you make a decision once and for all that enough is enough. And Tony Robbins talks about, we can make anybody who says, I don't want to do anything. You can't make me do anything. We absolutely can. We just need enough leverage. And when you truly understand what you're missing out on, leverage with your DMP, what opportunities you're missing out, what income you're missing out, what freedoms you're allowing your family that you're missing out on, the pain gets pretty serious pretty quick. And discoverable actionable plan. You'll have it laid out, daily activities. So purpose, crystal clear purpose is what you're going to get. You're going to walk away with your defined, definite major purpose in place, your beacon, your guidance, your North Star. You're going to have belief in yourself. You're going to have enhanced motivation. You'll reignite that passion. You'll wake up easily and effortlessly. Some of you are saying, that's impossible. There's no way you're going to make me get up at 5 a.m. I'm not going to make you do a dang thing. I'm not. If you're serious about your DMP, there's only 24 hours in the day. Ed Milat outworks everybody because he goes 3 6-hour days. He works 18 hours a day, 3 6-hour days. This company, this 6 hours, this company, this 6 hours, this company, this 6 hours. And he gets more done in a day than most people get done in a week. You'll have your blueprint. You'll have your roadmap. You'll know where to go. You'll know how to go. You'll know what to do. You'll know how to ask questions for help. You'll know who to ask questions for help. You'll have an elevated confidence. How many of you feel that you could make better decisions if you feel better about yourself? Self-esteem, it's the biggest issue. Self-esteem, it's the biggest issue. I'm not good enough. I'm not tall enough. I don't know this. I don't know that. We keep beating ourselves up. That's going to stop. You'll empower yourself. You'll learn how to make powerful, smart, good, positive decisions. You'll be able to filter through opportunities so that you don't have to worry about things. You'll learn to say no. I had 2 master distributors today call me and say, hey, listen, I've got a spot for you at the top of the tree. And these are companies that I already use the products. And I said, I already use the products. I've got some of these products from some people. I know, but I want you at the top of the tree. I want you next to me. We could go do things amazing. No, I like to sleep at night. I don't like that. My neck doesn't turn that far to have to look over my shoulder all the time. When you have your definite major purpose in place, you'll learn to be able to say no easily and effortlessly. There's a community, established people, like-minded individuals, and I'm going to ask you, I'm going to encourage you, and part of the work is that I'm going to put you into pods, and you're going to have accountability sessions, and you're going to hold each other accountable for the 30 days. And it works a little bit better when you've got somebody holding you accountable. And it's not that they got to listen. This is not you being a teacher. Let me be very clear. A lot of times when people think they're an accountability partner, they got to teach. You are not teaching this class. Let me be very clear. You are not teaching this class. You are not offering any opinions. You are not offering any suggestions. You are simply an accountability partner. I know that rubs some of you, maybe that'll rub some of you the wrong way, but this is not your place to teach. This is your place to go do the work. You can offer suggestions. You can reach out to me and offer suggestions. But I do not want you teaching. I do not want you diluting the message. I know that may sound harsh, but those are the rules. Hear from those who have found their true north, right? Booker T. Washington said, success is not measured so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which they overcome. Many of you are way more qualified than you know because of the obstacles that you've overcome. So, what's next? You got 4 decades of wisdom of my conversation. You've got unconventional. I'm going to challenge the conventional norms. We're going to dive deep into the methodology of it. We're not going to do surface level stuff. We're going to do deep work, deep work, deep work. We're going to do some personalized experiences, right? As we have our conversations, because this is the first go around. That's why the price that you're going to see here in a minute is offered to you at this price, because this is the first one. You're the first ones. You get to be here at the first one. So there's going to be a lot of customized conversations. There's going to be a lot of fine tuning and tweaking specifically designed for you. There's going to be the holistic learning, right, from Jung and Waddles and all of that stuff. Dynamic community, interacting, engaging conversations. True learning is not about adding more, but uncovering what already is. It's not a journey of realization. It's a journey of realization, not accumulation. I like that. It's a journey of realization, not accumulation. So time commitment. Well, it's flexible. You're going to be able to do it on your own. It's going to be inside of a workshop, inside of a mastermind group, a program, an online community that you can go access to it. You'll have access to it. It'll unlock each day, and then you'll get to go do that one. Then it'll unlock the next day, and it'll get to go do that one, right? And so all of this, and we'll have our live calls, and there'll be places where you can ask questions inside there. I carry my phone with me. I may even take it up with me to the sheep now when I go after my morning call in the morning to be able to answer questions and to be able to interact with you. We're going to do live calls once, maybe twice a week. Scott Schilling is bringing an unbelievable set of resources with him and skill sets that are with him, from selling $25 million from the stage. So from sales training, because that's what this is going to come down to. Your DMP is going to require you to do sales. And sales is the transference of enthusiasm, Zig Ziglar said. And Scott's one of the best sales trainers there is. Can help you with presentations and trainings. And so he's going to have a tremendous amount of resources that are going to be available to you and through him. So I'm really excited about that. I didn't know that. I mean, I knew that we did the call together, and I know that he would want to do this with me. He'd do anything I ask him. That's just the way Scott is. But some of the things we were talking about earlier today, it's going to be kind of amazing. So value for your money. Listen, if in 90 days you do this work and you're not doubling your income, ask for your money back. It's just that simple. If your comp plan, if your income model would allow you to double your income, it's you that's not doing the work. It's not that your income model doesn't work. It's not that your comp plan doesn't work. It's not that your customers wouldn't pay. It's not that your company wouldn't pay. It's you're not doing the work, period. This is where mental toughness comes in. And some of you are going to get a little bit frustrated with this conversation that we have about mental toughness, because the first thing you've got to overcome is delusional thinking. that it's hard. It's not hard. You're making it hard. When you get your DMP in place, that goes away. The course duration, it's going to be 30 days of content, but there's going to be a couple of days off, right? Because you're not insane like me or Scott, where you're just going to go, we're going to do 30 days and 15 days because we're going to work the first 12 and the second 12. So it's going to start on the 20th of this month and going to go to the 25th of next month. All right. And so 15-minute videos, maybe there might be some longer videos. The workshop, the conversation might go 60 minutes, 90 minutes on Wednesday nights. It's this time that we just put together. This time slot is where we're going to start next week. Interactive components, a community interaction, weekly live Q&A sessions with me and Scott, resources availability. There's a couple of other things that I'm going to be adding in. A lot of the other resources that I've already created and already have, you're going to have access to based upon what you need. Some of you might need some Think and Grow Rich. Some of you might need some Science of Getting Rich. Some of you might need some Claude M. Bristol, right? Some of you might need TNT. Some of you might need some sales training workshops with Scott. That's what we're going to continue to put together. And again, if you're first, you're going to get a lot of, let's just say this, the ones with the first usually get more than most. So it's a lifelong impact. New perspective, unwavering clarity. Imagine if you truly woke up tomorrow. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, and you could do this right now. You can make a decision. Making a decision is not hard. That's why people say it takes 21 days to form a habit. That is such a crock. It takes 21 days to form a habit if you have an addictive habit you're creating. Smoking is the perfect example. Why do you think there's 20 cigarettes in a pack of cigarettes? Because they know that if you smoke one a day, that's enough to get you hooked. But some of you won't do the activities for 20 days in a row. But the other thing is that you're not creating it such a way that you have the chemicals of the addictiveness, of the desire and the discipline and the passion, so that you wake up saying, I want more of that dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. Community bonding. How many of you drop an LL if you've created lifelong relationships because of the network marketing community? Drop an LL in the chat if you've created lifelong friendships and things that you would have never, ever, ever, never, ever, never, ever had a chance to meet people. You're going to do the same thing inside of the DMP community as well. You're going to learn a whole new set of skills. Here's the thing about skills. Here's the thing about education and knowledge. Once you have it, it can't be taken away from you. You learn this skill set, and I'm telling you, you're going to have tools for life. You're going to develop new philosophies that you'll be able to pass down. Some of you have heard me say this. How many of you want to learn wealth? Drop LW. I want to learn some wealth. I want to learn some wealth. Drop an LW in the chat. I want to learn some wealth. Well, here's the thing. You've been TP'd. You've been taught poverty. If you're struggling right now, for money or time freedom, you were taught time poverty. You were taught money poverty. I know that sucks, but it's just the reality. And you've got to face it. You've got to decide, I'm not going to use that philosophy. I'm not going to use that idea anymore. And it's going to help. You're going to have a reset. Break free from the limiting beliefs, the barriers, adopting a mindset primed for success, resilience, and positive change. And then there's continuous improvement. Lifetime access to this, right? Those that are first in my community know that they get taken care of really, 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 really well. So if you want to be part of this first go around, would love to have you. This one, listen to this. This one is Socrates. You just got to love the Stoics. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. It is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Socrates said that. So here's what you're going to get. Live Q&A, daily access to the membership Q&A, workbook that goes along with it, special guests. Some of the guests that I'm getting lined up for this, It's just priceless. 90 days guaranteed, double your income or ask for your money back. You got to show me you do the work, right? You miss an event, you miss a call, unless you got a doctor's note, you're not doing the work. This is serious. Give me 30 days and your life will change forever. So access to the Science of Getting Rich workshop for those of you that get started. Here's the thing. It's a $2,000 value, $495 of what it's going to cost. But the first 5, if you go to, I'll give you a website in a second. If you go there, you put in DMP as the code and you get $250 off. Those of you that are part of who have come to Rocky Creek Ranch, there's a special code for you. Don't go, you've got a special code because you've already showed your loyalty and your commitment to me. So if you've been to Rocky Creek Ranch to any of the live events, you've got a special code that gives you a super family discount. If you're part of the DC community, you've got another code that you have to get a super family discount. But for those of the first 5, you can go to SeanGMurphy.com/DMP, SeanGMurphy.com/DMP. Use that code DMP10 and you'll get $250 off it right now. And it starts on the 20th, and that will last for the first 5 who get it, because then all of a sudden the code goes away. The system knows how to do that. I think that's it. So we're going to go do some Q&A right now. So appreciate everybody being here tonight. If you got to jump off, but we're going to do some Q&A, and I'm going to ask Scott if I think he's still here. I can't see everything here just yet.
I'm here.
Yep, there he is. So we're going to do some live Q&A now for some folks that have some questions. Thanks everybody for coming tonight. Questions, comments, thoughts? Hey, Ruth, go ahead, Ruth.
Hey, Sean, thank you so much. And thank you, Scott. So I have a question. That time frame, I'm out of town for a little bit and also a week in the Grand Canyon. Not sure what signal I'll have. So I can play catch up, or can I do anything in advance?
Yes, you can. And because of that travel schedule, yeah, you're not unqualified because of that travel schedule.
Okay, so can I have in advance, or no? I have to wait till I come back and then play catch up.
No, there's some things that I'll be able to work something for you.
Okay, I already signed up.
Okay,
So I'm done.
I saw that. Thank you. You were the
Thank
first.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions? Any questions for me, Scott? Anybody have any questions about business? You want to test us, see if we know,
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
outstanding.
So first, I just want to say how proud I am of you. I am beyond proud of you. I don't think there are words that can be used to really express the gratitude I have to even be here tonight, and just listening to you tonight and knowing your journey. I'm just as happy as a peacock over here for you. And then having Scott with you on this is going to be epic. So after that, my question is, I overheard a little bit while I was putting the baby down where you said Scott's going to do some business trainings. What does that look like? Because I don't know if you explained that.
So I'm going to have Scott speak here for a second. And one of the things is that when we did the 2-day event this past weekend, the 20 elements of DMP, and if anybody wants to have access to that, reach out to me privately and I'll get you. Well, actually, if you go back to the dashboard, both videos are right there. So day 1, day 2 of the 20 elements of the DMP are there. So the 3 hours are right in the dashboard that you came to the Zoom. If you scroll down, there's a blog. Plus, there's a whole bunch of resources on the right-hand side. I love how many resources that I've got there on the right-hand side. Scott's book, Smile, Keep Smiling is there. Keep Smiling is there. So the reason I want Scott to come in is because Scott's got a set of skills that I don't have. We overlap in many areas, and we We elevate, so he can take my 2 and turn it into a 10 when we're working together, and I can take a 7 of his and make it an 8. But this idea of what he can do in the different way that he's done things different than I have. He's stood on 3,000 stages. I've stood on 1,000 stages, but it's inside of the network marketing world. It's inside of other trainers' worlds. He's stood in front of the general public where most of us have to go out and build our audience. And he knows the words to move people, the words that motivate people. He knows how to take a $7,000 program and get people to say yes in 90 minutes. So that's the kind of, when I say business training and business mindset, that's where he's got a tremendous skill, and he's known as a world-class sales trainer. So Scott, share some of the ideas of what you want to bring to this and what you are going to be offering, and share it.
Well, thanks, Sean. Thanks for including me in this. It's, it's always a blast to work together, and we complement each other very well. We dovetail back and forth. The thing is that when you sell a multi-$1,000 product, $4,000 to $10,000 in 60 minutes or less to people you've never met before, you got to do a number of things pretty quickly, because people do business with those they know, like, and trust. You have to assume they don't know you because you're just the first time there. And if they don't know you, they don't like you. And if they don't like you, they certainly don't trust you, but they have to trust you to do business with you. And you've got to be able to do all of that very quickly. So one of the modules that I'm sure we'll get into is 7 steps to building rapport in a minute and a half or less. Yes, that is possible. You literally can walk into any Starbucks, be standing in line waiting for an overpriced cup of coffee, and meet the entire line in such a way that not only will they thank you for meeting them, but will set up time with you after the fact. And it's a process. Technically, I'm a process trainer. I have been fortunate enough to learn from the best of the best, and then be able to go implement and execute that and put my spin on some things and my twists on some things. But the reality is, there's things that are foundational in across anything that you're doing. And that's a very broad statement. I get that. But the reality is, I'll give you one nugget right this second. We are all in the exact same business. Wait a second, Scott. We're not even with the same company. We're not offering the same products. We are all in the same business. This is foundational. The only business we're in is the results business. We need to take whatever our products, goods, or services are, and we have to provide results to those that we share those with. That's foundational. That right there, just that one little piece. When you grab onto that, you then start to understand. This is where the definite major purpose comes in. My major purpose is to share messages of hope and inspiration, teach and train others to do the same, and build God's kingdom worldwide. That's my purpose. So being part of this fulfills portions of my purpose. My purpose is to help you be on purpose. And that's what is very exciting about this. So when it comes to business training, there's more pieces to it than most people know. And the good news is, I've spent many, many years, 40 years, learning them, implementing them, and sharing them. And it's my passion, really, to share them. I love implementing. I do it virtually every day. I'm, talking to a friend today. He goes, I get 25,000 for a talk, but for you put me in some place because it's you. I'll do it for 10 grand because I want to honor you. I didn't ask him to do that, but it's because of depth of relationship. So relationships are going to be a big part of this, because the reality is, it's the creation of a relationship that everything becomes the foundation, again, becomes foundational. So any and all of the tips, the strategies, the techniques, after we did the 2 days the other earlier last week, I said to Sean, you know, I've got ebooks, I've got programs, I've got a variety of different things. If it would serve you and your audience, know that they're available to you. And he said, the only way I'm going to do that is if you come along too. Okay, so you're stuck with me. You get the other stuff. That's the good news. So again, it's the reality of a big part of it is Q&A. The funniest thing that I find with Q&A is people have some very legitimate questions and they're afraid to ask the dang question, which is the most ridiculous thing that you could think. I ask questions of people all the time. When I'm on stage these days, I still ask somebody what they saw when they said a certain thing. What did they do? I'm constantly trying to tweak and learn and grow. And the only way you're going to do that is ask questions. So the bottom line is, you know, I'll give you an example. And this was a direct sales company example. Okay. 200 plus in the room. Woman stands up. And after I did a presentation, and she says, Scott, I learned our company's script word for word. I deliver it with the best inflection and making it dance like nobody else in the company. And when it comes to the time of the close and I ask for the close, nobody buys. What can you suggest? And I said, stop trying to close people that aren't open in the first place. And the CEO stands up and goes, that's brilliant. And I said, while I appreciate the kind words, it's actually common sense. They were never open in the first place. So it doesn't matter if you do that. But who's telling you things like that? I will. I'll tell you the truth. Again, and you heard it if you listened to us the other day. We're going to tell you what you need to hear, not always what you want to hear. And that's what a good mentor does, is they take you aside, because ultimately, and I know Sean's this way as well, I care about your success. Your success becomes our success. That's the reward at this point. We've had other people invest in us for years and years and years. And it's part of our give back and being able to do this. So again, the exciting part of being part of this, and I'm going to offer it up to some of my community, or to all of my community as well, because I would love to get them exposed to Sean and to all of you guys. I mean, we can make things happen together that you just can't do on your own. There's velocity, there's momentum, there's all sorts of different things that can happen when you come together. And when you bring little differences in expertise and little differences of saying many times very similar things, but because of the way that they're broached and the way that they're come apart, you know, people sit there and say, you know, well, we were in a room, 611 people, and selling a $4,000 product. And we had people throwing credit cards over the top of each other, 4 deep at the table, selling 27% of the room at $4,000 in 60 minutes. And somebody said, that had to be pretty awesome. I said, it was tremendously awesome. And then I had a friend that did 3 times the amount in an hour that I had just done. It's the way it works. All you can do is the best you can do with the audience that's available to you and who you're working with, and then understand the value that you've brought to them and not go, well, but they did. What you need to do is congratulate them for what they did, learn from it, and continue to grow yourself. That's why we've gotten to where we are today, because we don't just sit there and take what we have and get static. That doesn't happen. Static doesn't happen.
Static doesn't work. It shocks everybody.
Exactly.
So here's a question for those. And Nicole, I want to congratulate you. Thank you for having a vote of confidence. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll do our best to serve you tremendously well. Imagine having your presentation audited. Some of you are going to about pass out right now. Imagine if you said, okay, so this Wednesday night, you get the first 20 minutes and you get the second 20 minutes, and each of you are going to do your presentation. And at the end of it, we're going to audit them. How many of you right now just broke out in a sweat? Secondly, how many of you would feel that would be amazing? How many of you would feel that would be absolutely, to have somebody who sold 25 million from the stage, somebody who's, I've been responsible for about 2 billion in company sales by helping them with language, not me. So I can't say I sold $2 billion. No, I've influenced the direction of companies to help them do about 2 billion in additional sales. So between Scott's personal sales of 25 million and my little bit of an influence with people, imagine if we had, because here's the thing, here's what I know. I know that Scott's going to give me some wonderful feedback on my presentation. Because I'm sure he was chomping at the bit going, oh, what did you can, oh, ha, because I just, you know me, done's the new perfect. So we'll get better.
Can I share a quick story?
Sure, please.
So many of you know that my pattern is to retain the best of the best in a specific area in order to, become as good as I can at that area. Well, my speaking mentor, it just so happened that I was following him. He was doing a 90-minute talk, and then I was doing a 90-minute talk. And it just, the way that the promoter put it together is I followed him. And he said, before he went on, he said, you're going to go on pretty much right after I do. But he said, do you want to do a debrief after your presentation? And I said, wow, that would be absolutely amazing. He goes, okay, so I'll do my presentation. I'll go sign books and do the things I do. I'll be back to hear your presentation. I'll keep all the notes and I'll do anything. And then I know you've got to sign books afterwards. But whenever you're done, then come to my suite and we'll do a debrief. Awesome. So he does his, he's so freaking good. It's unbelievable. And and so then I do mine and I finish signing books and doing all the different stuff that I do. And I go to his room, I knock on his room. He goes, awesome, glad you're here. I said, great. He goes, would you like a drink? I said, do I need one? He goes, I'm pretty sure you will. So he poured me a drink. I had a yellow pad. I sat down and he said, remember at 38 minutes when you said appropriate? Yes, sir. Advantageous would have been a much better word. I wrote it down. I was scribbling on my yellow pad and I said, yes. He goes, that's it. Out of 90 minutes, he picked one word. And because of that, that's the way I was trained up. Believe it or not, people will say one word many times that will kill their entire presentation. It can be one, can be a few, it can be an attitude, But the point is, once you learn those things, you'll never say them again. And so that's the beauty of having the ability to spot something like that. It was one of the most valuable lessons I've ever had from a mentor. And in 90 minutes, it was one word. That's how powerful you can be.
So let me ask you, you know the presentation he was talking about, you know where that word was placed. How much of an impact could that have made to the positive?
Well, a tremendous amount, because appropriate is just kind of like, it's a really namby-pamby, it's an appropriate word, but it's kind of a namby-pamby little word too. Whereas if you came through with something and said, this would really be advantageous for you, it's a totally different construct, and it sets a totally different mood in place. And the people don't realize, I mean, some of the best speakers do not realize how they shoot them. They shoot body parts off throughout their presentations. Oh, he just lost a finger. Oh God, there goes a foot. Oh my God, he's, and I love the folks and let me give you a prime example. I had a brand new gold American Express card. I was absolutely going to follow this one guy in his protege program, and it was $25,000. And I was at the event to spend $25,000 with him. And I was shaken, but I was just so it comes his time to speak. And they don't just announce him to the stage. They announce him to the stage, but he comes in from the back with camera crews backing up all the way to the stage. I mean, he's doing this whole massive entry and filming it and this pomp and circumstance. And it was like, okay, that's not really my style, but okay, I understand why he's doing it. And he goes through this entire program, and he's offering a $25,000 program. And he puts a picture of a car crash he was in 7 months earlier with his Lexus wrapped around a tree. Okay. And he says, and because of that, for the first time in my life from stage, I'm coming from my heart. Nope, I'm done. I'm out.
Wow.
And literally, John Childers, my speaking mentor, was the next speaker. And I went, that's my guy. But he literally said, for the first time in my career, I'm coming from my heart. And he's been taking $25,000 from people left and right for years. And the fact is, then when you did a little background and really dug into it, you found out he wasn't ever coming from his heart.
Right.
Never had.
Wow. Well, Jim Rohn says success leaves clues. That's a clue.
That's exactly, Jim Rohn was one of the all-time greats, and I mean, his statement, formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. That's where you and I have gone into the self-education side for a long time.
Yep. I love it. Anyone else? Questions, comments, thoughts? Well, you got us here. And then if anybody's got any more questions, feel free to reach out. DM me, find Scott. Scott, how can they find you?
Scott at scottschilling.com. I don't hide very well. I'm pretty available.
I love it. All right, folks. Well, there you go. I appreciate you so very, very much. I want to thank everybody who's decided to jump in and be a part of the community. First movers.
I have a
Get...
quick question, Sean.
Go ahead. Yes, Jane. Good morning.
So I apologize for being late. You know what I do, and I had, some old programming.
Yeah.
So would like to know if this replay will be available. It doesn't really matter because I've
Yep.
already committed
It'll
to
be-
this.
soon as it's live, you can go watch the one on YouTube here in probably 45 minutes. As soon as it processes.
Oh, okay,
I
cool.
sent it live to YouTube so that we weren't waiting on me to go do a recording.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm so super excited about this. I completely believe in you too, and you're going to change. I'm going to change my life.
There you go. I love how you took the ownership and took
Yep.
the burden off of us, because Scott and I weren't going to be able to sleep tonight.
That's right. Good catch.
Anyone else? Any last thoughts, comments, questions? And again, for those of you that are part of the DC community, there's a code for you. Those of you that have come to the ranch, there's a code for you. And I think there's maybe one or two left of the special of the DMP 10 to get the half off. So there you go.
So do we just put the DMP 10 or do?
No. You have, Diane, you have a special code that's because you've been to the ranch. So let me send that to you.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
You bet.
So are you gonna send us individually the ones who've been to the ranch, at least one?
They're in the ranch chats. So if you look in the ranch chats, you'll find it there.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
That was awesome. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Hi, Sean.
Hey,
How are you?
good, Stephanie. How are you? Welcome back from Croatia. And
Amazing. Anyways, thank you, Sean, and thank you, Scott. I'm so excited and so pumped for this course. But my question was, for those who are going to the ranch for the first time, I know there's 2 on here.
Yep.
That we are in the team and we're gonna go for the first time. So we wanted to know, like, what would be like the key major, how would I say this? Like the major topics you would be touching on besides the DMP, and what are some new things that we're gonna be learning about?
At the ranch,
Yes.
so you'll be able to get yourself centered. You'll be able to stay absolutely in a high state of energy from now until forever. So there'll be rewiring, there'll be unlocking, there'll be Beamish, do you want to say hello to everybody? Yeah, so at the ranch, it's an experience like you've not had before. You'll learn what it means to be quiet. You'll learn what it means to have quiet. You can ask anybody that's been to the ranch what it is that they've took away from it. The training was a small part of it.
I'm so excited.
It's the rest of the stuff that happens, right? From literally, there's people who had breakthroughs working with the sheep. It's just there's something special about this land that I had nothing to do with, that was here before we got here. I think we activated some of it, but what you get when you get here, and just being able to be in your energy space, it's different, right? You're coming to my home. You're not coming to an event. You're not coming to an event center. This is my home. You are coming to my home, and then you will be home.
Yay! I'm so excited. I can't wait. Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome. So just imagine the best event you've been to, and then 10x it.
And only, what's the max of people that can come?
18 is the most.
Sheesh. Okay. All right.
I love it. Thank you, Steph. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions?
I'm sorry, Sean.
Go ahead, Jane.
When I go into it, I use the code. It took me to sign up for Sean G. Murphy. I am part of Sean G. Murphy, correct?
But you went to SeanGMurphy.com /DMP?
Yep, put in the code. It took me through, put in my card, did all that, and it took me to
Okay,
this.
it's okay. Just keep
This.
signing back in. You have to go back into it. It's okay, Jane. Just sign in with your regular password and it goes right to it. That's what I
Okay,
did.
thanks. Okay, accept all the cookies.
Yes.
I love cookies.
Thank you, Ruth. Hey, Daniela.
Hey,
Hey.
well, I just heard Stephanie and I wanted to kind of jump in and give her a little bit of a,
Yes,
uh,
please.
okay. So there is, like Sean said, there's something about that land is absolutely magical. You come there and you might be going through some stuff, or you might be in anticipation of what is about to happen, or what adventures you're about to experience, or what new things that you're going to learn. When you step on to the grounds, it is almost like I don't want to say a wormhole, but nothing else exists other than what you're seeing in front of you. I'm going to be completely honest right now when I say I've gotten into little tidbits of arguments with my husband because I forget that I have a phone. I don't understand. There is something that happens. You don't have nothing else exists, but nothing. It almost is like time stops. Oh, I got to turn my camera on because you guys see my facial expressions for this. One moment. Because it'll give you a whole. Yeah, absolutely. I forget that I have kids. Nothing is going wrong. Everything goes smoothly. My whole life is on standstill on the outside world. And what you think you're coming there for is absolutely 100 million times than what you thought it was going to be. There is, like Sean said, there is something that happens when you are there. It's magical. It is just being in nature. I mean, those sunrises and the sunsets, you've seen them before, but they're not like the ones that you see on the deck at the ranch, or on the other side of the ranch by the pond, if you're looking from that view. Even if you're on the other side on the other side of the cabin, you can see them. If you're on the hammock, you can see them. There's a welcoming from Sean and Michelle. I don't know if Mason's going to be there at the time, but there is such a warm welcoming, a family welcoming, that you just feel accepted. And it just is in flow. It is in complete flow. And everybody's just on the same page. We're all there for a different reason, but we're all on the same page when we're together. Even if from the first time that I was there to this past time that I was there was new people. There was, and we all just connect. We all find something to connect with, and we find things about ourselves that we kind of don't want to admit to ourselves, but then the truth comes out while you're there. It is just, I can't wait for you to experience it, because there aren't words that you can describe in a lot of those moments of how you are feeling. But when I went there at this past event, I went in there looking for clarity. And I was like, there's something that I need to know, and I need to realize what is going on, because I was on such a standstill in my life personally that I was like, I'm just here for clarity. And yes, I got clarity, but I left there a completely different person. And I do every single time. Every single time I come back that person that I left, but then I leave a completely different person. And I'm honestly so excited to meet a lot of you in person and just to see, to be the, I guess the third person looking in. Absolutely. I'm going, even if I have to walk down there, I'm going. I'll have Sean come pick me up. But there's an excitement for people who have been there, for the new people to come, because it gives us such an advantage to watch you guys go through the journey, to be the I guess big brother big sister kind of program in a sense, because we I'm walking. Christina, we'll meet halfway. You guys will give us more than you think you will. Because there is a different person you guys get to see from Sean when you're in his energy. Sean is a completely different, I'm not saying that he puts on a face. Let me retract back. He doesn't put on a face on here. I'm just saying that you will see a part of Sean that the camera can't give you. The hugs. Oh my God, the hugs. The love that you will feel. It will absolutely be a life-changing event. So I'm excited. And thank you for letting me talk, because I was so excited.
Thank you, Daniela. I appreciate it. Well, there you go. Anyone else?
What happens after you leave the ranch?
Wait, no, we're not getting on that topic. We can have that topic the day before they leave.
The ranch doesn't want us to leave. It's just an amazing, amazing place.
Yeah. And Stephanie, you'll have to pick a tree. There's 785 trees on the property proper, and you'll pick one of the trees so that you never leave. Everybody picks a tree when they come to the ranch. I'm excited. I love it. I love that I get to bring you into my home, and because that's what makes this fun. You get to see the sheep, pet Gizmo. Gizmo will love all of you. The
I
other
can't
one-
wait.
What's that?
I can't wait. I'm
Oh,
so excited.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh God.
We'll save up on the eggs. Everybody will have fresh farm eggs, right? Have all that good stuff. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I know Scott's got some amazing stuff planned, and we're excited about it. It's something we think that could become a fairly big tool for people in the personal development world and undevelopment world that we want to work through it and get it right. So thanks for all having commitment and confidence in us. And I love you tons. And I'm your head brain training misfit, along with Mr. Scott Schilling. Where you at, Scott? You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right.
Absolutely.
Say goodnight.
Good night, all.
Good night.
We'll see y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
At the
Thank
next
you,
event.
guys.
All right, next
It's gonna be
event.
awesome.
All right,
Thank you.
see you in the morning.